Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, all the junkies out there in the world. It's your boy Kenshiro. We're back with Culture Junkies Live. Sorry for a late start. Being a parent is a never-ending job, but here we are. We're going to put on a great show for you guys regardless. We hope you all have had an absolutely fantastic weekend. It's been a long week off, it seems like. But we got a hodgepodge of stuff to talk about. First and foremost, you know, we got the announcement about the Oscar Popular Film category. A few other news items to talk about, and we're also going to throw it back a little bit with a topic talking about the some of our favorite genre shows from back in the day. I don't know how far we're going to go back, but it should be an interesting show anyway. Joining me on the show today for the first time in a long while, Miss Sabrina, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Glad to be back.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Super Nerd Plus checking in. What's up, man? He always seems to leave me hanging. LGZ, are you ready?
I'm here.
Nice to have you back. Looking, man, you know them specs got you looking like an accountant. Like looking all studious and stuff today.
These are my work glasses.
There it is. That explains it. And Mr. GQ, what's up, man? Decked out in red today. What's going on?
Not much. How's everybody doing?
Not bad. So, yeah, this week has been kind of like a strange week as far as the news goes, and you know, putting stuff together. You know, it's been kind of light as far as news, but you know, we cobbled together a show anyway. So let's get to it. We don't really have any items for the fix except for some news items. So LGZ, I want you to take it away. Here's the fix for this week.
Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? This is the fix. So, oh my gosh, so Ruby Rose is going to be Batwoman. I'm so excited. If you guys don't know who Ruby Rose is, she is on Orange is the New Black. She was in Triple X, Return of Xander Cage. She was in John Wick 2. Man, she's pretty awesome. She's got an impressive resume, so I'm really interested to see what she's going to do. I believe she's going to be on The Flash, so I'm super excited. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, number two, so this has been like a controversial topic. It's kind of been going on a couple weeks. I know we talked about it maybe a few weeks ago. We were talking about James Gunn getting fired from Guardians of the Galaxy 3 for some inappropriate comments that he made online many years ago. So they fired Disney fired him, and so now Bautista has come out and said, hey, if they're not going to use the original script that James Gunn wrote, I want out. And so, of course, there's been a lot of backlash on both topics, right? So it's kind of twofold. So a lot of people are kind of split on the James Gunn thing only because it was a long time ago, and you know, in the current climate, you know, was very inappropriate. However, you know, how long? I guess that one of the questions is how long can we hold people accountable for their actions? You know, because it's like I said, 10 years ago. Bautista, different story. People are like, hey, we don't like you anyway. You can go. So, and then there are also people that say, no, we don't want Bautista to go. So that's very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what comes of that whole thing. And as Kenshiro mentioned earlier, of course, the Academy Award, they announced the popular film category, which is going to be cool. So it's basically that category is now going to pave the way for movies like Black Panther, Infinity War, any other super duper popular movies that come out throughout the year. There's a category for them. So I'm very interested how that turns out in the Academy Awards. I hope Black Panther wins because it was awesome. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to that. Last story for tonight, Grant Gustin. So there was this, he sounds up on a bunch of people about body shaming. So what happened was there was a picture released of him in the new Flash shoot for season 5. And of course, fans had some negative reaction because they said he was too thin. And so of course, Grant Gustin did this whole long Instagram post. If you guys go to his Instagram, you can read it. He's got talking about body shaming and how it sucks, and that people have always told him that he was thin, and so he totally hates it. Like I said, it was very, I think a lot of people, you know, you can find the picture online, I'm sure, but I don't. It's kind of scarce now. I think they took it, or people are taking it down after the whole thing blew up. But it's interesting just to kind of, you know, I'm glad he was able to address the body shame issue, because it not only goes on with people that are thin, but it also goes on with people that are fat, people that are dark, people that are light, or whatever it is, and it needs to stop. Also, just for you guys know, 5th season of The Flash starts on October 9th. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the fix.
Yeah, you know, body shaming really does suck. We all kind of face ridicule, you know, as kids, you know, when we're growing into our bodies. You would think that kind of stuff would, you know, be done with back then. But it just goes to show that, you know, people are just horrible to each other, like, just in general. I'm like, man, it's like, you want to be proud of fandom, but dude, man, sometimes fandom really sucks, man. I don't get it, dude. It's just like, why do people feel like they're just so entitled to say just some of the nastiest shit to, you know, to people that are just really just trying to live their lives? I just don't get it.
Because you can.
What? Because you can? Is that what you said? That's not an excuse.
It has nothing to do with excuse. People do it because they can. It has nothing to do with right, wrong, fair, unfair. It's people to say what they're going to say, and it's up to the people that they get it said to either ignore it or take it to heart. That's just part of life.
But I mean, it's just people. I guess my thing is, I've always been taught that, you know, do unto others as you have them do unto you. So while I get your overall point by saying, you know, because they can, you know, there's a difference between can and, you know, necessarily should. You know, it's just the ongoing show of the erosion of, I hate to say decency, or maybe even decorum or respect, but I mean, that's kind of almost that's kind of really almost the best way to really even put it. Like, there's no other way to really put it. You know, it's like people just want to be shitty to each other and then want to get outraged when it gets, you know, thrown back at them. I guess I don't understand. I don't follow.
I mean, the thing is there's always going to be people that like that, people that thin skinned. But as far as the difference between can and should, let's say I'm walking through the desert and I have a cantina of water. Of course, I can save a dying person of thirst. However, doing so might put me right in their same situation. So should I do it? So it's just a matter of you do what works for you and you keep it pushing.
Do what works for you and keep it pushing. I get, I suppose. So about, you know, Ruby Rose being cast as Batwoman, to me, that's an absolutely perfect choice. It accomplishes two things. You know, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things about Ruby Rose as an actress, and, you know, that she's, you know, not necessarily very good at being an actress, or, you know, being cast in the lead role. But you know what? They said those same things about Stephen Amell before he became Green Arrow. They said he couldn't act when what was that show he was on? There was another CW show he was on. I forget what it was. It was it wasn't the 100. It was another show that they had. Trying to remember exactly what it was. But anyway, they said the same things about him, that, you know, he couldn't act, he wasn't a good actor, or, you know, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. I think she'll be fine. But you know, the other thing is, you know, and LGZ, maybe you could talk about this a little bit more, because I'm not necessarily super familiar with her. She kind of looks like she could be Batwoman. I think because she's such a popular actress with that LGBT crowd, that it automatically legitimizes Batwoman as a show, probably gives them a day one audience, similar to the same way I think Black Lightning was going to have an ingrained day one audience, because it was catering to the right demographic. Well, what do you say to that?
So I actually, you know, I didn't know. I've seen Ruby Rose in a few movies. I just didn't know that was her name. So I mean, now that I've kind of connected, I was like, oh wait, that's that same chick. So I mean, as far as, like, you know, her acting chops, I think she's good. I think she's good. So I
okay,
mean,
well, why don't you flesh that out? Can you speak? What is it that makes her good to you?
So I just think so. Talk about the John Wick movie, right? John Wick 2. She was in John Wick 2. She was deaf and she was like an assassin, but she was like totally badass. And and it's like, doing the sign language and everything. She didn't say anything, but she was totally badass and she was hardcore in the movie like the whole way, even when she got killed. Like it was awesome. So I was just like, man, like okay. And then I seen her is like when she was in I'm sorry, Triple X, Return of Xander Cage. That was cool. Like I said, she was pretty cool. She was badass in that movie, saying highly skilled. I don't think she was an assassin in that movie, but she did something else, but I can't remember because I still haven't seen it in a while, but it was badass. I just remember I was like, man, she's awesome. Like I was like, I want to be able to be like her. So I don't know. I think that she is totally ready for this role. I hope she's right for this role. The only thing I'm hoping is that they still keep her like shave haircut thing and make her look, very punk rockish. Like I love that style in her. So I hope they keep that because that is definitely a trademark signature thing for her.
Well, I think they'll probably keep that from when she's not in the Batwoman costume. But I think, even in the comics, whenever Kate would go out as Batwoman, she would always wear that, rare red wig. She would wear a red wig that would basically make her hair look longer than it is. And that kind of almost lends itself to the secret identity angle. Now I'm interested in how they carry this whole thing out because, with Gotham already being on TV still, CW's kind of already said that Batman will not be mentioned or talked about in the CW show at all, which I find, very odd, seeing as how Batwoman is going to be set in Gotham City. So, and Oliver Queen already mentioned Bruce Wayne, by name. So, he is around. So I don't know how they're going to skirt around that whole thing. Any other thoughts on Batwoman? Ruby Rose being cast as Super Nerd? You got any comments, thoughts? Wow. Every time I keep throwing this to this guy, he's either quiet, muted, whatever. Yeah, we can't hear you at all. You talking like a mime. We can't hear you at all. Your mic is not working. I don't know what the hell is going on, but you need to get that fixed. Anyway.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now can you hear me now? Yeah, now I can hear you.
All right. So what I was saying was it's the same DC trope.
Look at this Stevie Wonder looking motherfucker, man. Look at this guy.
Man, these lights are killing me right now. So I gotta put the glasses on.
Anyway, go ahead. You were saying
no. So I'm just saying, like, it keep doing the same dumb shit. Now, why won't you mention a popular character that's part of the DC universe? What's so hard of doing that? What's so wrong with doing that? Is we shouldn't do that because what? What's the reason? They're not in the same universe. Okay, that's dumb as hell.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't get it either.
And this is why I don't watch any of the DC shows because I don't get excited when you don't mention popular characters. I mean, this is stupid shit like that just irritates me. Like,
see, no, I think here's the part of the problem. And this is my reasoning for it. Okay, they're facing. I think in a way they're facing the same thing that a lot of people feel like Marvel should be doing. When you mention more popular characters, or like say with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. When Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. first came on, they were saying, oh, they exist in the same world as the Avengers. We're going to see the Avengers on the show. That's not exactly practical. That's not, once, and because, part of the reason is because it would completely throw their budget out of whack if they were to bring in Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans or any of the other big time Avengers, right? But the other problem is that anytime you introduce a popular element to a show that's kind of low or fledgling or just starting out, it always ends up being about the more popular character. Like, look at, okay, let's use She-Ra as a good example, right? The only episodes of She-Ra I even cared about are the ones He-Man was in. I mean,
okay.
That puts it, in context right there, because if you don't let a show grow and breathe and establish itself, and you mention or you put some other popular character on the show in some kind of capacity, automatically the focus of most of the fans that want to watch the show are going to go to that popular character. That's why they don't do that. That's why they don't cross-pollinate enough.
That's a fallacy because
how so?
Cloak and Dagger mentioned people from
mentioning is one thing, but
that's what I'm saying. Mention where they act like they're not in the same universe. It's stupid. Like, what's wrong with naming Superman? What's wrong with saying Batman? Saying the name is like, ew.
Can I interject really quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because what I was gonna say is that I know, on Supergirl they introduced Superman, and that was like a big deal because everybody was like, well, is it gonna be Henry Cavill? And then they picked this other guy, and it was just like, so much comparison between him and the other guy, and it kind of blew up in their face a little bit. So maybe that's why they're not doing that.
Well, either or, they're not doing. They can still say that they're, just mention them. That's all you gotta do. Even mention. I think people get excited that, yeah, I ran into Batman. Batman told me tell you hi or something like that. Like, it don't have to be a big, it not to be a cameo at all. Just have it mentioning the person's name, because when you start deviating from the character, it's like, okay, so why am I watching this now? You don't have no type of connection to the universe. So it's like, it's his own thing. Same thing with Gotham. Gotham's the stupidest show ever created because you made Batman.
You ain't never lied, man.
It's stupid because why would you have him as a kid? And why would you do all? You could have just had it about, him without even having Batman in there.
Hey, did you see that, on that dumbass show? I want to say hello to Hey Motto over there. Is that our boy Elliot? I wonder if that's our boy Elliot watching the show over there on Twitch. Anyway, oh, it is Elliot. What's up, man? How you doing? I want, you saw that Gotham, they said, little teeny bopper Bruce is there. They're talking about teasing at by the end of the season, they're going to mention the word Batman or, him being Batman or something like that. I'm like, dude, man, get this show out of here, man. I mean, I'm so tired with that show. I'm so tired of that show.
And that's what I'm saying. They're making constant mistakes. When they mention Misty Knight and Cloak and Dagger, I said, oh, that was pretty dope. That was dope. Just something like that. It's the connection.
Oh, and they mentioned the Starks and the Rands on the show in the last episode too. So
to me, some of these movies and shows play out like comic books because you got the crossover, because they are existing. They may not be in the same timeline, but they are existing. What's so hard of saying Bruce Wayne or having Bruce Wayne, Wayne Towers or something in the background? It's not that hard. Warner Brothers own everything, so it's not that hard to drop these characters' names or even mention another character, from Batman verse, whatever. It's just something that's so stupid to leave these characters out. People are not going to watch it.
And speaking of,
they'll watch for her.
Right. Well, they might watch for her. They probably will watch for her because she's an extremely popular character. But speaking of another popular property, this whole James Gunn thing. I mean, I'm wondering when this thing is going to be like really over with, and like when it's finally going to get put to bed. But do we really think Dave Bautista is like? I don't want to call him dumb because he's trying to be an upstanding guy and put his money where his mouth is and stuff like that. Sticking up for James Gunn. But do we really think he's going to quit Guardians of the Galaxy 3? I mean,
I believe probably so. He'll do it. I think.
Sabrina, go ahead. What's your thoughts on it?
If you don't quit after you say something like that, then you haven't really backed up your argument, right?
Yeah. He's gonna come across looking as fake, if he does.
Right. But the other thing is are they gonna actually let him? They're just probably let him go, which is the other thing that could go with that. Like maybe you tossed your hand out too early.
I mean, yeah, I could certainly see that. I understand the sentiment, because I mean, some people are taking Disney to task, saying that they fired him too early. Thanks for the follow, appreciate that. He's hosting, thank you. But my thing is, it's one thing to say that you're sticking up for this guy that had some really offensive tweets back in the day, and didn't take care of him. Some people were saying that Disney jumped the gun, that they shouldn't have fired him at all, that they should have rode out the storm or something like that. Dude, they literally had no choice. Their hands were tied. And GQ could back me up on that. Like, dude, their image is everything. For real. Their image is everything. So like, if something like that, and it's not like they probably didn't know about it beforehand, but I think Bautista's whole thing is like, you're caving to these Nazi dudes or these alt-right conservatives that kind of want to hit back at James Gunn for some of the stuff they said about their their favorite Manchurian candidate up in the White House. But do we really think he's gonna just cut and run? I mean, I have a feeling he's gonna walk back. He's gonna walk back his comments. He ain't gonna stick to that. That's just my thought.
Maybe he realized he ain't have another job nowhere, and them checks is looking mighty fine. You know
ain't no money like that Disney money, I tell you.
I'm like, love you dogs, but I gotta get this paper.
Like GQ, would you do what he did? Like even if it was one of us, right? If it was one of us, that got popped for saying some out the way stuff, and it came back to bite us in the ass, would you do what James Gunn did and kind of stick up for your boys, or you'd be like deuces?
Realistically, if everybody's responsible for their own words, their own whatever, I will protect people as they need to be protected. But I mean, if it's something you brought upon yourself, regardless of when it happened or whatever, that's on you at the end of the day. I'm going to endanger my livelihood out of some sense of loyalty or whatever, because at the end of the day, is James Gunn going to start paying Batista's bills? I highly doubt that.
Hell no. Nah.
And in all honesty, Bautista, again, don't know what his financial situation is. I mean, obviously he was a wrestler for a while, and obviously he's an actor now, but he's 49 years old. And wrestling is a young man's game. So I mean, I highly doubt he's going to go back to wrestling again, because he's already done that once. And depending on, like I said, the most recent thing I've seen him in with Gate Plan 2 with Sylvester Stallone, but that was a Blu-ray direct-to-DVD release. So I mean, as far as major studios, come and call him on this thing, he's not The Rock. Let's just be real. He's
right.
Not.
Right.
But you got to be careful what you say. And again, that's on him. If that's how he feels, if that's what he wants to do, he wants to stand up for James Gunn, that's absolutely fine. And I admire him for that. That's not the same call I would make, though, because at the same time, James Gunn is a grown-ass man. And regardless of whatever place he was in at that time, he said those things. He put those tweets and whatnot out there. And Disney, they go over you with a fine-tooth comb. I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, they haven't been around for as long as they've been around, and been on top as long as they've been on top by being stupid and being bleeding hearts. They are a business first and an entertainment second. So, I'm sorry, not the company, entertainment conglomerate, because they've already taken over. They're taking over the world slowly. So.
Absolutely, they sure are.
So can I interject here again as well?
Go ahead. So
I think one of the things that we all kind of like, I don't think that Disney, after having a finished script, is going to push back the Guardians of the Galaxy movie like another year just to get another script in. So I think it was like really just kind of, I don't even know what Bautista was doing. And secondly, he was in what's that reboot that they did of Blade Runner? I mean, he's only in there for like 5 or 10 minutes, but he's got some other stuff that he's done, and he probably will have some acting even after this. But I heard that what I did hear that was funny to me was that they said that DC is looking at James to pick up James Gunn.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I'm like, dude, that would be the most spiteful type hire if I ever saw one. Like, literally, I mean, I'd be for it too. There's certain elements, and I use air quotes there, certain elements of fandom out there that probably would be afraid that James Gunn would bring too much like slapstick comedy to the DC film universe. But he's an accomplished director. I mean, say what you want. He's an accomplished director. So I think he knows what he's doing. I think he would, get him with the right project. I think some people were saying, they would love to see him do like an Animal Man movie, but I see it.
No damn Animal Man.
But maybe have him do Green Lantern, possibly. As a Green Lantern Corps movie, maybe have him do that. Seeing as how he's been pretty good in space, and he might be able to make it a really good buddy cop movie. That could be decent. What was that, GQ?
Good luck with that non-compete clause.
Yeah, that was the other thing I heard about that too. Is that even though he's been fired from Marvel, he's still under contract with Disney, so they're looking at him, getting him with another project. That's what I heard.
DC ain't gonna be able to touch him for some years.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a good minute before they touch him.
Unless he's got a good lawyer that can actually get him out without the non-compete, because that can't happen too.
Good what? What did you say?
A good lawyer.
A good lawyer against Disney's lawyers? Come on now. Nah.
Bautista, by the way, was in James Bond.
Oh, yeah, he was an inspector for like a quick minute. For like a quick minute.
One of the coolest scenes in that movie.
He's cool, but again, his whole thing was probably at most a week's worth of work.
Right.
Hey, did you know that James Gunn is cool with Lloyd Kaufman from a Toxic Avenger fame?
Oh, yeah, that's what he was in the Gunn.
Yeah, that's what I found out funny. I didn't realize that until I saw.
Didn't James Gunn do Tromeo and Juliet?
He might have. I
could have swore he did.
First movie was a Troma movie.
Yeah, his first movie was a Troma movie. Yeah, I think it was Tromeo and Juliet.
I can see why his tweets was fucked up.
Right? Yeah, I mean, because like this is who he was, man. I mean,
so I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I said last time, if Disney ever came knocking, I am bleaching my internet history.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who I like, you thought that I had just literally popped on the earth like as soon as they showed up, because like you wouldn't be able to find anything in my past. Like,
nothing.
So I mean,
I hear you.
You have to be careful what you do. That's life. That's how things work. But good luck, DC, against Disney's legal department, not just a company. They have a straight up department. They're gonna stick so many. James Gunn will not be doing a movie for DC anytime soon unless Disney decides to up and buy DC.
Absolutely.
That'd be crazy.
I wouldn't want that.
That's not happening.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that to happen.
Right, with like, let's say you do something with Image or Dark Horse, he can still do that, right? He just can't do with DC, or he just can't do any comic book properties.
It's none. It's a non-compete. Like literally, he can't work for anybody.
Well, I mean, but he's going to get paid though. If they fired him, they're going to have to pay him out his contract.
Yeah, I think they said if they use his script, it'd be a $10 million kick in. I think if they use his script,
and that's why they want to pay him.
What is that? The first like 10 minutes of ticket sales off of a movie? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean,
right?
Like I just don't think they're going to like push back the movie just because try to get in the new script.
Yeah,
that would be dumb.
They'll be all right.
That would be a pointless movie.
Maybe they didn't even have a script.
Right.
Like.
There's
all right, y'all.
Yeah, no, they said it was done.
So let's move it forward to talking about this Academy Award thing that popped off today. The Academy Awards trying in a way to become more socially relevant with the popular masses after they've seen declines of the past 2 years. The ratings of their annual 4-hour snore fest that is the Academy Awards show are adding a popular film category to it. And as we covered in the fix, narrated by LGZ, they are adding a popular film category that's going to include like all the summer blockbusters. So obviously that opens the door for our favorite films like the Marvel films, and maybe even films like Mission Impossible, so on and so forth. I mean, can we just call a spade a spade? They made this film category basically before the Black Panther, because they knew Black Panther was probably going to get steamrolled in the best picture category, and there was about to be a big time, and I'm talking like big time problem after Oscar So White happened. What was that? 2 years ago? Or was that last year that Oscar So White happened?
That was like 3 years ago.
Was that 3 years ago? Yeah. I didn't think it was that long. I thought it was like just 2 years ago, something like that. But anyway, they made this category because Black Panther just toppled 700 million domestic and did very good overseas. If this thing didn't win an Academy Award, they would have had a riot on their hands. So let's discuss what does this mean for this award show specifically, and what kind of trickle effect could it have on summer blockbusters moving forward?
I say Marvel gonna have all of them in every category. Ain't gonna be nothing else really banging like that besides Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I give DC an outside shot of maybe getting something.
Let's be honest. Be honest with yourself, Playboy.
I am being honest with myself. I mean, okay. So if Infinity War and Black Panther did not come out this year, and Aquaman was going against Ant-Man and the Wasp for maybe the most popular film of the year, which one do you think probably would win based off of the trailers and after seeing Ant-Man and Wasp?
You're speculating off of trailers, though. We haven't seen the full.
No, I hear you. I hear you, but you know, and maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but Ant-Man and Wasp, while it was good, it wasn't like anything super outstanding.
It's not supposed to be, though.
I mean, but then that's what I'm talking about. You're saying Marvel's just going to walk away with it, but if Black Panther and Infinity War didn't come out this year, I think Aquaman probably could win it. Or if not that, Mission Impossible probably would.
Yeah, I was going to say probably Mission Impossible.
We're talking about
three movies. The Aquaman trailer looks just like Black Panther, though.
I mean, and that's true. I mean, there's no denying that. That is absolutely true. But I'm just saying, he's saying that Marvel's just going to automatically walk away with it. I'm like, not so fast, man. I don't think so.
Okay. I think they probably needed this category for a while anyway.
Oh, I totally agree. Totally agree. But
in general,
some people just say, you know, they're basically just biting off of or trying to steal a little bit of thunder from the MTV Movie Awards. What do you guys say to that?
MTV Movie Awards been trashed since the fucking 90s.
Yeah, that movie. I don't even know people that watch that anymore. So
nobody watches that.
Yeah.
And you know, like Q brings up a very good question. Was that?
I feel like I've never watched the MTV. Never.
You never watched the MTV Movie Awards, really?
I
mean, granted, like you said, they haven't been really relevant in any kind of real capacity in a good 10 or more years. It's been a good long while since they've been like must-watch TV.
MTV don't even show music videos anymore. Shit.
Right? Yeah, we can't even barely call them MTV anymore. You know? So, but you know, Q brings up a good question. How do you quantify? And they haven't even discussed what the criteria are going to be for them to, you know, to determine what makes a popular film. He's like, what the hell is a popular movie category? I mean, that's a good question. How do you quantify, GQ? If you were the Academy, how would you quantify what makes a film popular and have it enter into this category? Will you look just at box office records or what?
That's the only way they're going to be able to do it, because everything else is opinionated for an opinion.
Right.
The issue I have with even the concept of it is, I mean, now granted, the original Academy Awards all the way back in 1929, if I remember correctly, maybe 1928, had a popular movie category. Did
it really? Did not know that.
It wasn't necessarily popular movie. It was written, you know, it was described a different way, but essentially you had two Best Picture winners that year, and it basically is a controversial thing. So they have never ever since used that again. Now, here's the issue with that. For one, there's no such thing as two number ones. You have a number one, a best. That's why it's a superlative. It's the best. Period. Or none. So if you're going to essentially have a popular movie category, to me that's like, okay, why are you trying to add another? Here's why I think they're trying to do it, because these movies, these popcorn films, the summer blockbusters, is what runs the entire industry's budget year after year after year. The reason that these studios can make all these other artsy-fartsy, ridiculous experiments in film is because of Avengers, and because of the Mission Impossibles and all the movies that make all these studios their money for pretty much that entire year. These tentpoles, as they call them. So realistically, I think a lot of these films, now granted, if I was a director and I got nominated for an Oscar, I'm not going to turn it down. But it's like, I look at it as, we don't really need you as much as you need us. And that's how these films should be looked at. It's like, we're pretty much in the driver's seat, because without these billion, dollar plus grossing films, the rest of the industry ain't getting all these little pet crap ass projects that they like to put out, all these little silly foreign films that nobody ever really truly cares about, but always
right. No one goes to see any of these like Fox Searchlight movies or these movies that have limited run in the theaters that, you know, don't even really get wide releases. It's like you got foreign films, like you said, coming out of what was that? What was that foreign film that won one year? The Piano, I think it was. Foreign fucking film came out of, like, literally came out of nowhere. Nobody had ever heard of it. At least nobody in the commonplace had heard of it, and it just steals the Best Picture award. We're like, what?
I think some dudes getting bullied.
Yeah, but you have to understand the people that actually sit on the board that that pick these movies for the winners. They're like, you know, art snobs basically. You know what I mean? So it's not like, you know, so yeah, a foreign film that without a wide release, that's really that, you know, they feel is really good. Of course, if they don't like comic book movies or they don't like an action movie, it's not gonna go.
I mean, like, but to GQ's point, I'm sorry, but to GQ's point, shouldn't then it be flipped? Shouldn't they be the ones that have the specialized category and the popcorn films get more cachet in the best film category? Because literally, when you think about it, right, the best film is the one that moves the most people to see it. Wouldn't you say? Not necessarily the best technical film or anything like that, but it's the best combination, like the film that people just had to go and see or experience in the movie theater. That's the way I think a best film should be rated. What do you guys think?
I would agree with you, but I think what it is that they're looking like overall, like everything. So not just the storyline, the music, you know, the background stuff, the writing, like everything is like it's like all you know, connected. Like that's what they're looking at. So even though a Marvel movie may be popular and may make the most money, that doesn't have anything to do with it, because maybe they feel like, you know, a comic book is, you know, something that's not original because it came out 60 years ago or 40 years ago, right? And they're just kind of retelling the story. So that's not, you know, but like when you think about Best Picture, it's like, you know, the original screenplay, all that. I think that's all like interconnected as to why they picked those movies as the best movie.
When you go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, when you go back and you look at all the things that ever won Best Picture, and then you compare it to like a movie that was also in the same year, like Saving Private Ryan. That movie did not win Best Picture. That movie lost to Shakespeare in Love, and it's bothered me for decades. And Saving Private Ryan is a better movie. Technically, it had a better storyline, and it had like it was, you know, I mean, Shakespeare in Love is a good movie too. It had good like art direction, and the costumes are amazing too. But like, really, is that movie better than Saving Private Ryan?
Right. And isn't it always like some period piece that ends up winning Best Picture anyway? It's like,
hey,
how many of these period pieces can you take? Was that?
I mean, also, yeah.
Go ahead, Sabrina.
But I understand. Not what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, Sabrina. But like, I didn't even like that movie, Saving Private Ryan. So, I mean, it didn't resonate with me. I also didn't like Shakespeare in Love.
Also didn't win, but like, you know,
it's one of the most memorable movies of all time. Yeah, I get it.
I'm just saying that those are things that the Oscars do, like the Academy Awards. There's plenty of movies out there that are like listed in the top 100 movies of all time. Like, what's that Christmas movie? It's a Wonderful Life. It got snubbed. Everyone hated that movie, and that is like the Christmas movie that everyone.
It's like watches. The super cult favorite, right?
Yeah, and like that didn't win at all. It didn't make any money in the theater when it originally came out.
Well, even going back to like what Elle was saying about how they maybe look down on comic book films because they're based on something else. Okay, take away every movie ever based on anything out of the Bible. Like, strike that.
10 Commandments is gone.
Yeah, like, you can't.
Ben-Hur is gone.
You can't there and
Lawrence of Arabia
and have all these little arbitrary, ridiculous rules. And I think that's also the issue. The Academy needs to be really broken down and rebuilt from the ground up. They need people, a diverse group of people, some young people in there, because I guarantee you the Academy is a bunch of old heads that just basically don't get it. And that the whole industry is changed.
Hey, I just realized something. Didn't The History of Violence win an Academy Award? And that was based off a comic book?
Yeah, it did, but it wasn't a typical comic book film in the manner that no, I get you, but it's not the typical comic book film in the manner that the Academy would look at it. So critically, I think the critics looked at it a lot differently because it wasn't, spandex and powers and science fiction and stuff like that. It was based in some form of reality, something that they could literally wrap their minds around because they don't necessarily have I don't want to say is that they don't have the imagination to have a suspension of belief, but I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, let's talk about this. Prim Wins actually brought it up, and so did Q in the chat. She said there was some action movies that deserve Best Picture and Best Actor. Now, speaking of Best Actor, we all remember Heath Ledger won Best Actor for his performance as the Joker for The Dark Knight, and a lot of people said that if it wasn't because he died, if he hadn't died before that movie came out, he probably never would have won. And they're saying that a lot of people are saying that Heath Ledger won that award posthumously. It wasn't because and his performance was absolutely fantastic. It was. And I felt like it was deserved, but I know there was a lot of rumblings that they said, oh, because he died, they felt like they need to give him a bone because it was like literally the finest performance of his life and it was his last. What would you say to that?
Heath Ledger was a good actor. Every movie that he was in, he was brilliant in. If he hadn't died, he probably eventually would have maybe gotten an Oscar for some other role in the future.
Okay, but here's my issue with that. And I got actually two things I want to bring up. Because Q was talking about Transformers is not better than Saving Private Ryan. I can argue that it actually is. But going back
okay, go ahead.
I don't like how they have you didn't get an Oscar for this, but down the line we got you. That's some BS. Because
yeah, it is.
Denzel Washington should have run quite a few Oscars throughout his career.
Yes, he should have.
I agree.
Tom Hanks did an amazing job in some of the stuff he's done, but some of the nominations he got nominated for over other people weren't all that. It's like, dude, sometimes the way they pick them is just annoying. It's really, truly annoying, and it's just like it's hard to watch sometimes because it's like you've got people that do an amazing job in these different roles that they play, but it's like, oh, it's not your time. Like Leo, like why did it take Leo to get to Revenant? And like that movie wasn't even all that. It was like he's done way better stuff in other films, and it's just like, we're gonna pass you over this year again because, well, you probably pissed somebody off. So I like that part of the Academy, but as far as
a period piece.
Well, yeah, there you go. But I mean, as far as the Transformers over Private Ryan, here's why. Saving Private Ryan is basically telling the story of war. It's something that actually happens. It's something that we've seen a million times. It's been done over and over and over again. And yes, it was a Spielberg that did that one.
Yep.
Granted, Spielberg is a master of the class, a master of the art. However, all it is he's just telling war in a grittier way. Transformers, to me, not necessarily the Bay version, but just Transformers in general, to me, that's a much better film in the sense of it's taking something that you did not even expect to be able to get on film and it's putting it on film. And it's something that's actually bringing to life something that you've watched as a child versus, okay, it's another war film. Dude, I could go out and shoot a war movie right now, as many war movies as we've all seen. To me, bringing something from a fantasy imagination space to an actual real life, boom, here it is on screen, takes a hell of a lot more talent than it does to tell another war story.
I agree. I agree. Because you're literally breathing life into something that doesn't exist and trying to make it absolutely realistic and believable in as much as possible. As much as possible, you're doing that. So that takes a little
Toy
extra
Story
talent.
3 should have won an Academy Award, but there you go.
I mean, it's a little bit easier for animated films. I grant you that. And we won't dwell on this topic much longer. But I can see the point that GQ has about it kind of being a crock. And actually, I want to bring it back to something Q said a lot earlier in the chat. He said he thinks it's a bunch of BS because, okay, why are we separating what makes a film the best film? Like either it's the best film or it's not the best film. He's like, you know, to him, he's finding that this popular film or achievement in popular film category that they're coming up with is like a backhanded way of saying, well, you know, there's no way you're going to win Best Picture from this snooty crowd, but here we've got a little something for you. Here you can have this little token Oscar here. It's almost in a way I think Q views it as the same way that Suicide Squad winning an Oscar for best makeup and costumes, you know, type thing. It's not an actual achievement. It's almost like a consolation prize, like saying, here, we'll give you this little thing, but you're not really that good of a film in our eyes, you know, that type of thing. And that type of thinking, I think, is what has made the Academy increasingly irrelevant. And I think that's, you know, that to GQ's point, it needs to be torn down and built back up. And I believe they're starting to do that with the way they're diversifying the Academy itself. I think there's a lot more people of color that are members of the Academy now than there were ever before. So I guess the evolution of the Academy is going to have to continue. I don't know exactly what it's going to take because, like you said, there's plenty of very, very fine actors that do fantastic roles in films that get a lot more notoriety in the popular place that probably deserve to win over some of these art house films. All right, so let's put that topic to bed. Super Nerd, let's rewind the clock a bit. You said you came up with kind of this topic a little bit. What if we were to throw back the time machines? Hop in the DeLorean, put on Mr. Fusion, fire up the flux capacitor, and travel back into like 20 or 30 years. Like, what was some of the best stuff that we've kind of forgotten? What's kind of like some of our guilty pleasure shows and things that we used to watch back in 1998 that are no longer on now?
1998?
Yeah, 1998. That was like 20 years ago. Like
so,
if we could come up with, yeah. So like, what if we could? Yeah, we can start right there. What, you want to go 10 years first?
I mean, you know, we go 98. That's fine.
Okay, go 98. So if we were to hop in the, you know, the time machine and go back to 1998, what was on TV that we've forgotten about that, you know, that we all used to just love to watch back in the day?
I'm gonna be weird because I like to watch the obscure shit.
Yeah,
I was watching. Yeah, I do. So Saturday mornings, I always watch City Guys. That was
man.
CITY, you can't see guys. These guys, new guys, smarter and streetwise. That was my show. I used to watch that. Hang Time.
He's pulling out all the NBC Saturday
live
action dramas, dog.
I was official. I didn't want to say about the new class though. That was kind of wiggity.
No, that was trash, dog. That was trash, man. That was trash, dog.
But I watched that. Let's see what else. And then of course whatever came on Saturday morning in general, cartoon wise. But let me go back to the prime time because between Saturday morning cartoon, I went straight to Nickelodeon. That was like my things right there. So it was of course Kenan and Kel, all that. Are You Afraid of the Dark, which I still watch today. What else? Oh, Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the
Crypt. Was that still on back then? In 1998?
I think it left off of 90, even, let me see. I think either 98, 90, let me double check. I could be wrong.
I'm like looking at Google right now. Like, here's one. Did you watch this? Did you used to watch this? Famous Jet Jackson? The famous Jet Jackson, the main actor who's dead now, who just passed away a couple years ago, which is sad. But yeah, I mean, there was quite a few shows that were pretty popular back in 1998. I think Doug was like in his next to last year. On Nickelodeon. The famous Jet Jackson, the Powerpuff Girls came out that year, 1998. Yep. And that was man, the Powerpuff Girls, so good, so good.
Dexter's Lab is that
Dexter's Lab
at the same time?
Yeah, okay.
Animaniacs last year was 1998. The last year of that.
TRL came out that year, which was innovative in its own right.
TRL.
Yeah.
You right.
Total Request Live with Carson
Total
Daly?
Request Live, yeah.
No, that used to be the most popular show like ever.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
like all the people, like everybody was watching that show.
Everybody was watching. Yep.
Like, dude, like they were running home from school. Kids were running home from school to fire up MTV. That was like the last few years that MTV was even relevant anymore. Yep. That's like we was talking about the MTV Movie Awards. That's when that was popping. That's when that was popping back in 1998.
Because that's when Eminem really popped off around that 98. But we all, if we know,
that's right. Michigan, that's right.
We all from Michigan know he's been out longer than that. But you know, 98, 99 was like his year. He really blew up.
Also,
okay, so go ahead.
Sex and the City came out that year too.
Was that year? 1998? Okay.
Really?
Sex and the City, yeah.
Yo,
I thought they came out like the 2000s.
No, 98. It ended in like 2005, 2004, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, so Junkies, hop back in the time machine and like really start to think. What were some of your favorite shows from back in like the 1998? Like I'm looking at the list right now. Do you know 1998 was only the second season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Like
really?
Yeah, and like I thought it was on earlier than that, like 1998. But yeah, 1998 was only the second season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a show that I absolutely loved. A show that was really, really popular that just premiered that year. That 70s show came out in 1998.
You're right. Damn.
And I was never really into that show. Like I
wasn't even.
I knew about it, but I wasn't really into it. I didn't, you know. Of course, the super popular show Seinfeld, 1998 was its last year.
Friends
was in the middle of its heyday, so it was pretty like must-see TV.
ER a lot.
Oh, ER, like dog. ER was the truth, like, man.
Such a good show. I watched a lot of Boy Meets World.
Oh yeah, that's dog. Let me tell you, that's when that's it was always a. It was always a contest, like who was hotter. Well, I think it was like what was it?
Topanga?
I think it was Topanga. It was either Topanga or was it Kelly Kapowski, who was like I think they were in the middle of Saved by the Bell of college years at that time. So like no. She was still on. That was when she crossed over to 90210.
Melrose.
Yeah, no, the 90210. That's when. Yeah, that's so now this 90210 was still on in 1998, I think. And that's when she was like super hot. Like I had the biggest thing for Tiffany Amber Thiessen back then. But anyway, I'm just
didn't we all?
Yeah, well, maybe not all of us. I can't speak for some of the ladies, but I don't think all of us did.
I think the whole trio. Anyway,
well, Family Guy came out that year, 1998. My son.
South Park and I don't know. Hey Arnold. I used to watch that all the time.
Hey Arnold.
Oh, dog. Hey Arnold. You know what? I found a really dope ass remix.
Favorite shows.
I found a dope remix of the Hey Arnold theme song. I think I'm gonna try and throw it on real quick. But do you remember when? Who?
I think Comedy Central Presents come out around that time, and they were showing like all that Comedy Central stand-up stuff around that time, 98.
Probably, but remember about Family Guy. Remember Family Guy? When did it first come out? It was like it first debuted on. It was on some network that Seth MacFarlane like was trying to break through, and it was like Family Guy was his first thing, and it was like his brand of comedy hadn't really caught on. I guess it was like too much of in its infancy. He was like kind of ahead of his time. But remember, like Family Guy got canceled. Like, yeah, and it was like within one season. It was like Family Guy didn't even make it off the network that it originally was on. And then Fox swooped in. What was it, like 2 years later and picked it up, and then started to put it back on again.
Yep. Yeah. It was canceled for a minute. Yep.
Anthony Mentor mentioned the Hughleys, and I forgot.
I was just about to say that the Hughleys.
I forgot about the Hughleys, man. Wow.
Yeah, man. Let's see what else. I'm checking out some other stuff.
Oh man, here goes a show that was starring Ryan Reynolds. Mr. Deadpool. Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Yeah,
like,
I forgot about that show.
I remember they shortened the title to Two Guys and a Girl because the whole Pizza Place thing was kind of odd. I thought it was kind of odd too. I was like, Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. Okay, what's that all about? I ain't get that. The Real World Road Rules Challenge on MTV. Another like.
Was that the first one?
Yeah, the challenge. That was the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
Was that one? Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy Neutron came out that year, 1998. The Wild Thornberrys came out that year. Young Hercules.
RoboCop Alpha Commando.
Oh, is it?
Don't mention that ever again. Don't mention that ever again. What is the matter with you?
Street Sharks in that? It's Street Sharks. I remember watching that. But
Street Sharks was in 1998, was it?
I know. No, I have no idea. I was just saying that.
No, I don't think it was 1998.
Hey,
but
here's one for you. The Silver Surfer. Remember Silver Surfer had this show that came out.
Oh, the Silver Surfer cartoon, right, man?
Yeah.
Look, it really looked like a Jack Kirby cartoon come to life.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't that bad.
Man, that show was kind of dry, dog. I was just like, it was hard to watch. Our boy Chris is like, Marcus look like you about to play the piano. Give him a little Stevie Wonder, man. Give him a little Stevie Wonder. There it is. Yeah.
The ribbon in the sky.
Yeah, there it is. So, what was that, GQ?
Mortal Kombat.
Yes, Mortal Kombat. I used to love that show. That show was great, dude. And it ended way too soon. It like even the cliffhanger that it had, like really made you like dog, you gonna end it like that? I'm like, that's gonna be the last episode? Dog, you can't do that, man. Who was in Mortal Kombat Conquest? I'm trying to remember. It was Daniel. I forgot his dad. It was Daniel what?
Daniel Burns.
Yeah.
The main three.
Yeah.
Mendes was on the show one episode. Rick Burns. You had a lot of different models.
Yeah.
They got Chris Casamassa. They got to play Scorpion in the Scorpion in the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So
I got one for you.
Pretty good stuff. The Animaniacs also ended that year as well.
Johnny Bravo.
Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Johnny Bravo was my shit, dude.
Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo was my shit. Godzilla the Animated. Now, see, that's the most fucked up thing about this. Godzilla the Animated Series was much better than the movie it was based on.
Of course it was.
It was so good. I actually really liked it. I thought it was a really good show.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Oh, the Gennady Tartakovsky ones. The first one we actually saw Anakin get his scar from Asajj Ventress. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that one. Oh, Sammo Hung's Martial Law came out in 1998.
I forgot about that show.
Wow, Sammo Hung, Kelly Hu, and Arsenio Hall. Wow.
Hey, remember VIP?
Yeah, I try and forget about that show, even though Pam Anderson was in it.
Crazy.
Yo, man, you know you was only one reason if you was young and a teenager, you was tuning into that show. Like, remember, like that's when TV they used to like literally just put on a bunch of shows that would titillate people. Like Baywatch used to be on and it would titillate people. VIP was on and it would titillate people. I think Relic Hunter tried to be that way when it came out. What was that? What was that? GQ Relic Hunter came out in 1999. Is that 1999 when it came out?
Yeah, we had one season in '99, I believe.
Yeah. Let's see. Here go one for you. It only got one season, and remember, like Hercules and Xena were kind of big back in the day. But Young Hercules with Ryan Gosling. With Ryan Gosling. Yes, he was Hercules.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. He was Hercules.
I did not know that.
Ryan that was like his first starring role after being on the Mickey Mouse Club. That was after that all went away.
He did a few episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark too.
That doesn't surprise me. Celebrity Deathmatch. LGZ just mentioned it. Celebrity Deathmatch was one. Man, people used to love that shit, dude.
Hell yeah.
Stop motion claymation. Yeah. People used to love that shit.
Hey,
dude.
don't forget WCW Thunder.
You mean Thunder in Paradise?
No, WCW, man. Remember the Thunder? That whole segment?
Not really, because I didn't watch WCW. I was a WWE guy. I was all WWE. I never watched WCW.
Well,
was
you're
that
just
LGZ?
not, I guess.
I was gonna say Kenshiro. It was actually Tony Mentor that mentioned it. I just loved it. So shouts to Tony Mentor.
Oh, shout out to him.
Yes.
Shout out to him, absolutely. Family Guy started on Fox, then Fox canceled Family Guy on 2 separate occasions and brought it back. Oh, I thought it moved from one channel to another. So if you're an anime fan, 1998 was actually a pretty dope year. Cowboy Bebop came out in 1998. Outlaw Star came out in 1998. Cardcaptor Sakura came out in 1998. Like, dude, 1998 was a bunch of bangers for anime. Like it formed that year formed a lot of people's fandom for anime back then.
Oh, remember Screensavers?
Nah, man. What was Screensavers?
What the fuck, man?
Sorry, don't get mad at me.
It pretty much started this when the whole G4 started back in the day.
Oh, okay. Screensavers with that used to have Morgan Webb on it. I think she used to be on Screensavers, right?
Yeah, Screensavers.
Yeah, and it was like a live action call-in like tech show.
Yeah, tech show. Yeah.
Now I remember Screensavers. Yeah, man, I miss G4, dude. Yeah, I miss G4. G4 was a good channel.
It was a good channel.
It was a good channel, way ahead of his time. I liked it a lot. Primwin says Oz was Oz on HBO.
Yeah,
dog. The introduction for most of the women in America to Idris Elba. String a bell. String a bell.
There you go.
String a bell, dude. Man. People still talk about The Wire. The Wire and
Hell yeah.
Oh no, I'm thinking of The Wire, not Oz. Oz had what's his name? Guy that played J. Jonah Jameson. I forget his name, and Commissioner Gordon. I forget. J.K. Simmons. Had J.K. Simmons I guess he was like one of the standouts of that show. Oz was a dope show. A lot of people really like that. Should we go back further in time? Or should we stay in 19? I'm like, yeah.
We can go back.
You guys, yeah. Oh, so LGZ, what was like a favorite period of yours? Like we're trying to reminisce on like old shows. Like you want to go back to the 80s? You want to go to the 90s or what?
She's not there, buddy.
She's not there.
I was gonna say she's not there.
All right, Sabrina, you pick one.
I mean, we can't really go. I mean,
you can't go further 80s, back.
You
want to go 8?
I was like 9 in 1998, so like.
All right, let's go 1990. Damn, we can't go much further. We can't go much further. Yeah, we can't go much further. No, that's cool. So
for the 99 to 2000.
Right. Let's go back to 1998. Right. So we went back to 1998. What the hell was on TV in 1998? I can't even think about it, man. Like literally, I can't even think back that far. TV shows 1998, 1988, Roseanne's debut year, The Wonder Years debut year, Dear John,
88.
Murphy Brown, In the Heat of the Night, Empty Nest. Yep, dude, dog. 1988, Dallas was still on TV, and it started in 1978.
Dallas.
Yes, it started in 1978. Dude.
So was Murder, She Wrote was on for like forever too.
Oh man, my mom used to love that show, dog.
Columbo.
The Golden Girls was still on. Alf was still on. The Facts of Life was the last year. Rest in peace to Charlotte Rae, Mrs. Garrett. Let's see.
Head of
Who's
the Class.
Boss?
That was my show.
Head of the Class. A lot of people love that show. Who's the Boss was on with Alyssa Milano. Growing Pains.
Growing Pains. Yep.
Night Court. L.A. Law. L.A. Law.
That's crazy.
That's 19. Man. Yeah. L.A. Law 19. I did not see. Of course, we were too young. Last year of Magnum P.I., the original Magnum P.I. I'm still mad that they kind of remaking that show, man. Like, how you gonna remake? Yeah, they remaking Magnum P.I. on CBS, man. Yeah, but Magnum is gonna be a Latino guy now.
As long as he got the mustache, man, I can deal with it.
Nope, no mustache.
Oh, they ain't watching it then.
No mustache
That's
whatsoever.
not Magnum PI if he doesn't have a mustache.
And the
Does
taco
he
meat.
sell it?
And the taco meat.
You gotta have a taco meat, son.
The taco meat.
The taco meat
Heck
and the
no.
mustache.
The taco.
You gotta have the push broom mustache.
That's hilarious. The last season of Cagney and Lacey, 1988. Oh, dude,
Really?
remember this show? Remember the War of the World show that used to come on TV? That was 1998. Was his first season. You might be too young for that, but the War of the Worlds was actually a really good show. Really good show.
How come I don't remember it in 98?
No, I mean 1988. 1988. 1988.
Say, man.
Yeah, 1988. It was the first year that came on. Okay, so for some cartoons, if you're into that sort of thing, Garfield and Friends, that was his first year.
Inspector Gadget.
I hate Inspector Gadget.
I'm just saying.
You hated Inspector Gadget? What's wrong with you, man?
He was stupid. His damn niece was smarter than him.
That's the whole point. He's
that's the whole point.
I got annoyed. I got annoyed.
The guy in the Pink Panther, where he's
the inspector. The inspector was dumb as fuck. He was always his.
I couldn't deal with it. I got annoyed.
Man, come on, dog.
his Brain the dog.
Come on,
They
man.
was cool. I wanted them to have their own show, to be honest with you, because I couldn't stand Inspector Gadget, bro. He was fucking annoying as shit. I couldn't deal with it.
Oh, here goes one. Here's one right up your. What was that?
Tintin.
Oh, I love Tintin on HBO. When it used to come on HBO, I used to love Tintin.
Yeah.
Tintin was great. And I had never heard of Tintin before. I didn't even know it was like a big comic book show or a big comic book overseas. But I used to love Tintin. That was some really good stuff. That was like some really good dramatic stuff. That was like, it had shades of Batman the Animated Series before it came out, to me anyway. 1988, here's one right up your alley. In the same vein as Tales from the Dark Side and Tales from the Crypt, Freddy's Nightmares.
I remember that.
Came out in 1988.
So
I
such a
didn't show remember that.
Yeah. 21 Jump
shit.
Street's second season with Johnny Depp was on.
Yep.
Hey, you know what? You know what was a better show than Freddy's Nightmare was that Friday the 13th.
13? Yep.
I don't know when that came out, but I think it was playing in '98 still. But that was way better of a show.
It was.
Yeah.
I know that. If you remember, they actually showed Jason's mask in one of the
You know, that was always my disconnect with that show. It was like, okay, what is this show about? It ain't even about Jason chasing them around. I was like, I was just like, I can't even connect with this show because Jason ain't in it. You know, that was my whole thing. 1988, Superboy came out.
He hosted his show. He wasn't even in his show. Freddy wasn't really in his show either.
Yeah, I mean that's true. That's true. That's very true. That's very true.
Like either one of those shows. I'm like,
he was in the intro.
Yeah, he was in it.
Not good enough. Not good enough.
To me, it was like, why am I going to watch this if neither one of the main characters that the show content is like change the name.
Right.
For both of those shows, it's like, okay, it's based around these characters, not even in their universe. Like, okay, this is silly.
Hey, a pup named Scooby Doo.
No.
Hey, that was the truth, dog. Red herring. that was the truth, dog.
That motherfucker red herring. Hey, Freddy was like snitching on red herring. Like,
yes, dude.
I watched it as an adult. That shit is hilarious.
Yeah, man.
He be like, nah, fuck that. Red herring did that shit. I know that motherfucker.
Right. It was red herring. Red herring was ready to run up on him like, man, you better keep my name out your mouth.
Right.
I hate Scooby-Doo. I completely despise everything Scooby-Doo, especially.
You didn't like a pup name? I forget who I'm talking to, man. Why am I even saying that? I forget who I'm talking to. Of course he didn't like it.
Again, it was part of that trend of let's take everything that was old and make them young.
Like Flintstones Kids, I hated that show. The Flintstone Kids, I hated that. Tiny Toons, don't talk about Tiny Toons now. Don't talk about Tiny Toons. Tiny Toons was dope.
They were old and then they became young. Not that it was a bad show.
Well, that's not even them though. It was like
it's not even them. It's like the concept of Tiny Toons Adventures was actually on point. I loved it. That was a great show. It was a way to keep it moving forward. Here go one for you, Super Nerd, and since you like BBC, Red Dwarf was came out over there in 1998. Still,
it sounds familiar, but I can't picture it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can't. The name sounds familiar, but I can't picture the show.
Mystery Science Theater 3000's first year was 1988. Mission Impossible, the TV show, first season was 1988. But Peter Graves.
Let me see. I'm looking up shit. Oh, Kids in the Hall. That was my show.
Oh, the Kids in the Hall. Yes.
Yep.
That was a funny show.
That show.
Sketch comedy show.
Sketch comedy show.
Sketch comedy show. Shit. The second season of A Different World, which was actually the first season without Denise in it, and people say that the show took off after that when Denise left the show.
Possible started in 1988. Are you sure?
Are you sure what?
You literally just said Mission Impossible started in 1988. I want to make sure you said.
Yeah, it says it right here. It was on the list. Right here on IMDb, it says 1988 to 1990.
That's supposed to be the remake because the original came out in the 60s.
Exactly.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm only going off what IMDb said. 1988, 1989, 1990.
Okay, the second Mission Impossible series started in 88, not the original.
I'm just saying, dude. It's on the list, okay? It's on the list.
Yeah, you gotta talk correct to the people, to the audience.
Let's see. Chippendales Rescue Rangers came out that year. My Secret Identity was my show with Jerry O'Connell. Loved that show. My Secret Identity. I loved that show.
Shit.
Yeah, I loved that show. That show was great. Wait a minute, man. They made a Dirty Dancing TV show?
Not surprised.
Oh no, they didn't. A continuation of the movie where Francis Baby Houseman falls in love with camp dancer Johnny. Man, dude, that's terrible.
Hey, dude, I just realized something.
What's up?
So, My Secret Identity is just like Secret Road to Alex Mack. The same fucking premise.
Pretty much.
I just realized that. It didn't click to me until now because I totally forgot about My Secret Identity because I ain't watched since I was a kid.
All right, so you got Dino Riders, 1988, based off of the toy series. Dino Riders.
Dino Saucers.
I didn't say Dino Saucers. I said Dino Riders.
I know. I just feel like saying it because that's a funny ass song.
The RoboCop cartoon show, which lasted far too short. I actually liked it, but it was kind of stupid. It was like, wait a minute, how you gonna have a show about RoboCop who's literally blowing dudes away, and you ain't gonna be able to show that in a cartoon show? All of a sudden, he's firing laser guns. Oh, here go one for you. Double Dare, absolutely. Double Dare, absolutely. Count Duckula was 1988.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Here go one for you though. Denver the Last Dinosaur. That was your show. I know it was.
Denver the Last Dinosaur.
I know that was your show.
My friend and a whole lot more. Okay, you know how I get down.
1988.
What was that in 1988?
Superboy.
Oh yeah. I mentioned Superboy, man. I ate that show up as a kid. I ain't gonna lie. I did. What's up?
Wow. Oh, I said Fantastic Max. Remember that show?
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of cartoons, and here go one for our boy Simon Says. Cops came out in 1988.
I still don't know how you know all them damn characters.
Dog, he knew them all. I don't know how he was rattling off them names. He knew them all. Police Academy TV series came out that year.
Wait, they had a Police Academy TV series?
Yeah, they had a Police Academy cartoon. Sorry. They had a Police Academy cartoon. Let's see. Garbage Pail Kids came out that year. The Turtles came out that year. Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters. Dude, that was a terrible spinoff. I hated Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters. That junk was terrible. TNT with Mr. T. Turtles and what?
Turtles was in its second year in 1988.
Turtles was in its second 1988. TNT with Mr. T. How'd that last 3 seasons? TNT. This drama crime show with former boxer who was accused of murder he didn't commit. All was lost thanks to public demand. Oh, man.
Wait, that's a cartoon?
No, it was a live action half-hour show with Mr. T. 3 seasons. This was, of course, after the A-Team went off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
88. The last year of the Gym was out in 88.
Oh, Jim. Okay.
Them and the holograms.
Jim and the holograms last year. Man, surprisingly serious for a show of his nature. I think that was pretty much it for 19. Oh, the Ruby Spears Superman cartoon came out in 1988. Now that was quality to me. That was a quality cartoon for Superman. That was really good. Remember, it was the one that had all the little like origin stories, like shorts, like after the show was over, like him growing up in Smallville and stuff like that.
You got me lost on that one.
Oh, you don't remember the Ruby Spears Superman show? Oh, come on, dog. Wow, the Ruby Spears Superman show was actually really, really good.
I got that whole collection.
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yes, dude. It was. Now you know it's good if he's got it in it, and it's a Superman show. Come on, dog. It was a good. It was a good show. It really was. It was good. Oh, here go one.
Make it good.
You gonna say just because you a collector and you had to be in your collection? That's come on. Man. You know it was a good show.
Wild Wild West and various other movies that suck.
Up All Night with Elvira, Tony Minner says.
Ooh-wee.
Absolutely. The Wonder Years.
You would say Up All Night with
it had Elvira in it at one point, but then they switched her out with for
Rhonda Shear. Get her
Rhonda Shear. Yep. Rhonda Shear. Oh, excuse me, dude. I look, I know that was your that was your little wet dream fantasy when you was a kid.
Listen,
dude.
Elvira and Rhonda Shear, man.
Elvira was mine. I ain't gonna lie. You know, Elvira was pretty hot when I was a kid. So, hey,
she still look good for her age. Shit.
Kinda, yeah. She kind of does. The cartoon Complete Mental Misadventures of Ed Grimley. That was a weird show, dude.
I don't remember that shit.
You don't remember Ed Grimley? That was a weird show.
No.
That was a weird show.
You know, I'm gonna be honest. So in '88, The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I've never been a big Winnie the Pooh fan. I never liked him as a kid.
That junk lasted a long time. It did.
I never liked Winnie the Pooh. I hated his old voice to be a bear.
Like Pooh Bear, Winnie the Pooh Bear.
Oh, she knows it.
Oh, yeah,
she knows it.
I just hated it. He said, "Oh, Christopher Robbins, would you please come sit on my lap?"
So I take it you ain't gonna go see the movie Christopher Robin.
No. I'm not gonna see that shit. That's just as bad as fucking the Peter Pan movie that Robert what's his name did.
Finding Neverland.
Finding Neverland.
The one that Johnny Depp did.
Yeah, that's the one. Isn't it? Did anyone watch the Mr. Rogers thing?
No, I wanted to though. I really did. The Mr. Rogers documentary that was supposed to come out.
Oh. Yeah,
it's already out. It actually was in the theaters already. That was pretty dope. Can we talk about deaths in 1988 and 19? Imagine LGZ wants to get kind of morbid here. So who do we lose in 1988 that you that were of note? LGZ. Since you got them rattled off.
Yeah, so hold on. We talk about 1988.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Andy Gibb died that year.
Musician.
The musician from the
Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees, yeah. Let's see.
Basquiat.
William Cagney died that year. Did Basquiat die in 98?
Oh, 88.
88, okay.
He died in 88. I just named out names out there. So you going for 98? My bad. I'm sorry. 98.
This is 88. I'm actually in 88. I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Timothy Patrick Murphy, who was on Dallas. These are kind of people that I don't really know a whole lot of. The only one I knew for sure was Andy Gibb. Can we go?
That's the right.
Yo, stop.
No, she did. I think she died in 98 though.
98? You sure? Let me see.
All right, so I got a list right here, right? So
I'm wrong.
These are
she did die.
off of IMDb. The popularity deaths of 1988. John Carradine, from the actor from the Grapes of Wrath. Remember Heather O'Rourke from Poltergeist, the little girl? Yeah. She died. That year. I mean, I had a crush on her. Yeah, she died.
What?
And yeah. Oh yeah. When I was a little kid, I had a crush on Heather O'Rourke. Are you kidding?
Oh, okay.
Of course I did. And Ramsey from Mama from Throw Mama from the Train and the Goonies. She died that year. Let's see, I'm trying to think. The original Alfred from Batman 60s TV show, he died. Alan Napier, he died that year, 1988. Trying to think. Who else? Oh, Mr. Goldfinger, Gert Frobe, died that year.
Jeez, hell.
He died that year. Trying to think anybody else of real big. Most of these are older actors. Like no one really surprising died. Roy Orbison.
The musician Roy Orbison.
Roy Orbison died that year.
Yeah. Anything you want.
Andy Gibb. Okay, you got Gibb.
Yeah, this is gonna be a bunch of people that mess.
Yeah, we're gonna be a bunch of people that people really don't know, and those are the most popular ones. They and it's listed by. So if you want to go, oh man, Damon Lowe bringing up Bionic 6, but that was in 1988. I think that was a little bit later.
Earlier.
Yeah.
No.
The Highwayman, best high tech 18-wheeler ever. I never watched the Highwayman. You know, the 80s was full of those like special vehicle TV shows like Street Hawk and Knight Rider. What other vehicle show did they have that was trying to think. Can't think of anything. Okay, so if we were to go back to 1998 for celebrity deaths, who?
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra would be number one. Yep. Frank Sinatra would be number one at the top of that list.
Oh, that one girl from what call it? Young and the Restless.
Young and the Restless.
Esther Roll died that year. Linda McCartney died that year. Phil Hartman died that year.
Dude, that was tragic. That was tragic when Phil Hartman died. That was really tragic.
Yeah, Esther Roll. Michelle Thomas looks familiar.
Michelle Thomas from Family Matters. She played she was Myra Monkhouse.
Yeah,
she was fine. My goodness. Sonny Bono died that year from Sonny and Cher, obviously. Roy Rogers, Flip Wilson died that year. Roddy McDowell from Fright Night, if you remember. Yeah, if you remember from Fright Night. Kira Kurosawa died that year, who was Japanese cinematic legend. Died that year. Junkyard Dog died that year. Tammy Wynette died that year. James Earl Ray, who should have died a long time ago, honestly.
James Earl Ray, who?
Yeah. Got that shot Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh shit, I should know.
He should have been died. Dr. Spock died that year. Not Leonard Nimoy, but the actual Dr. Spock died that year.
Hold on. What year was that the celebrities were dropping like flies? Is that 2017?
It was either 2017 or 2016. I think was the year that
2016.
I think it was 2016 when like all the like really famous ones started to die. 1988, Lloyd Bridges died that year.
Lloyd Bridges.
Yeah.
Quit sniffing glue.
Who?
Oh my God, you guys suck if you don't know where that's from.
Wait, say it again.
You said Lloyd. I said it's like he picked the wrong year to quit sniffing glue.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know what it's from.
That's cold, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see.
You guys really don't know what movie it's from.
I'm trying to think. It sounds familiar. I can't picture. I'm laughing at him because you told him he didn't know what it was because he was snickering and laughing and shit. So I know I ain't know what it's from.
Foster. Jerry Red. Oh man, here we go. For black people, Jerry Redding died. Jerry Redding, as in the inventor of the Jerry curl, died that year. Died 1988.
I'm not
1998.
laughing because of him laughing. I'm
You guys
laughing because I ain't know. Huh?
never seen Airplane.
Yes,
Roger,
Airplane. It's from
Roger.
Airplane.
Oh shit! I haven't seen Airplane in years.
Flojo died that year.
Yeah, 2016 was the year of destruction.
All right, so yeah, 2016 was like loaded full of celebrity deaths. Like, so if we were to rewind the clock a little bit, 2016
Muhammad
notable
Ali.
deaths: Gene Wilder,
Oh,
Carrie Fisher,
Yeah.
Gene Wilder, Carrie Fisher, Debbie Reynolds, Alan Rickman,
Damn.
Tony
like
Burton.
Alan Thicke, Craig Sager, dude. Like a lot of people just dropped dead. Who else?
Prince. Yeah, Nancy Reagan, George Kennedy, Prince, Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
Gordie Howe.
Yep, and
Gordie Howe.
From Star Trek, or from New Star Trek.
Kimbo Slice, right?
Robert Vaughn.
Robert Vaughn died that year. Yep. Florence Henderson, Mrs. Brady died that year.
George Michael.
Fidel Castro.
Lawrence Henderson. I mean, just list upon list of just Arnold Palmer finally died that year.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Rich from Everybody Loves Raymond. Oh, yeah, that year was just packed. Abe Vigoda is just packed.
Like we were seriously worried about some of our more famous actors that were kind of slightly old, because like we were literally thinking, okay, Death's scythe is just like literally cleaving across the earth, taking like really talented people away from us that year. Like Bill Nunn died that year. Arnold, like you said, Arnold Palmer died that year. Gloria Naylor died that year. Agnes Nixon, the famous creator of like all the soaps on ABC, she died that year. Who else died? Patty Duke. Kenny Baker, the original R2D2, died that year. John Saunders from ESPN died that year. I mean, like, and see, that was the other thing about it. Some of the deaths that came out in 1998, 98, they took you by surprise. Like, you literally were not expecting it. A lot of people that died that year, you were like, isn't this like you could say, oh yeah, okay, well, it was kind of his time to go. Like, dudes were like dying like young, and like they shouldn't have died. Like you never expected it. Gary Marshall died that year.
24 from Martin died.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. He did. Anton Yelkin, Chekhov, from the new Star Trek movies, died that year. And he was sudden. He got pinned by his car.
Yep.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, it was. I mean, just dudes that just died way too young, got taken away. It's like.
So just switch off of that because there's a lot of morbidness.
Very morbid.
Part of life.
Earl the Pearl died that year. China died that year.
Oh damn, I forgot.
All right, now you were saying, go ahead.
Oh no, I'll just switching it up a little bit for a tad bit. We can do it back in '98, or we can switch it up again.
Malik Taylor died that year. Wow.
Who? Who you said? Who was that name?
Malik Taylor from Chop Rock. He was Fife Dog.
Oh, shit. You had to say Fife.
I had to give his stage name for you to get it. Gary Shandling died that year.
Malik. My mind was elsewhere. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Gary Shandling died that year after proclaiming Hydra. Dog, Frank Sinatra and Frank Sinatra Jr. died that year. Damn.
Yeesh.
Frank Sinatra died in 98 or 88.
Was that 88?
Yeah,
okay.
Sinatra was 2016.
Okay. Yeah, Shandling died on the damn golf course, old head tech says. Man. Just... He's like, hey man, I need a mulligan. David Bowie died that year. People weren't expecting that. Yeah. Lot of surprising deaths that year. Anyway, that's pretty. DJ Big Cap from New York died that year. Yeah, man. Death was just like really taking its toll that year.
Just for what he does.
Yeah. It's 11 o'clock. Oh man, I know we were late getting on, but it bees like that sometimes when you're a parent. What can I say? It's 11 o'clock. We're going to get ready to wrap up the show a little bit. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we broke out?
I think that's about it. That sums it up.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to talk about this week. Y'all watch that match from Evo that happened? That Tekken match between Little Magic. That was the other thing. Like I never really watched Evo much. But like this year, for some reason, I wanted to tune in. But dude, there was a lot of black people kicking ass and taking names this year. Like there was, I think Sonic Fox won Dragon Ball Fighters, the Dragon Ball Fighters tournament. He's a black dude, gay, but black dude, but beat out people from Asia. You had Little Majin kind of wrecking shop on Tekken, dude. Like the match that we showed that's right below us on the Culture Junkies fan page. If you haven't seen it yet, even if you're not into Tekken, like the drama, the set that they had between him and I think it was DRC was just incredible. Like some
That's
real
the
back.
kind of thing you want to watch in. That's like the perfect matchup.
JDCR, sorry, yeah, JDCR. That was it, dude. Yes, I mean, it was absolutely an incredible set. Like I literally would recommend anybody watch that. And like if you don't get what like the hype behind esports and even fighting game esports, is all about, just watch that match. The skill, the drama that was going on back and forth, man. It was just really good. And Majin, he's like, it's been around. Like they say, like he was making videos back in the day. Like me and GQ, our boy Will, he'd been playing King longer than that guy. Like he'd been playing King since I think Tekken 1. He's been playing King. He was like literally the best King player I had ever seen. Like he'd spend hours at the arcade. And this is of course back before Tekken came on the arcades. But like literally nobody would pick King because he's a wrestler and he's got too many button presses and stuff like that. Will would stay on the arcade machine for hours playing King and just wrecking everybody that came in his path. It was something else. And then, to see Majin out there wrecking shop with King, it kind of like brought me back to them times of playing against Will in the arcade. It was some really good stuff. Did you see the match, GQ? What'd you think of it?
I only watched Street Fighter 5. I didn't care about the rest of the game.
Oh, this guy here. Yeah.
Still the king of Evo because it goes on last.
It's still the king of Evo? Really?
If something else takes the main event, yeah, it's still the king of Evo.
Okay. All right, you say so. But what do we think of those? What do we think of those announcements that came out of Evo as far as like the new characters? Like now, okay. Sagat being on Street Fighter 5 was kind of like long overdue. I think a lot of people were like looking for him back even last season, I think. But and I like what they did with him. I do. I like what they did with Sagat. I think he's got a lot of good mix-ups. And what can we make of that G dude? He looked like, isn't one of his alternate costumes look just like Q from Third Strike?
Yeah, he's supposed to be kind of similar, reminiscent of Q.
Yeah. So I wonder what's the deal with that guy. I don't know. But then you of course got Negan coming to Tekken 7 next year. You got Anna Williams coming back, which honestly I'm surprised. I thought she was. I don't play her, but I thought she was already in Tekken 7. But it's kind of cool seeing her back in Tekken. And then of course over in Smash you got the Belmont clan. You got Simon and Richter coming out. for Smash. That's kind of interesting. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yes. Like actually on a good system, but okay.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, it's kind of interesting seeing them come back to Smash, and like, I'm wondering like what the hell took them so long. It was just because Konami didn't want to play ball or something like that. I mean, as much as Castlevania meant to Nintendo as a system when it was like the NES and even the Super NES, I kind of would have thought that they would have gotten someone from Castlevania on there. For now, it took them a long time.
Well, it's because Konami is weird.
Yeah, they don't even really make video games like that anymore, which is sad. You know, really sad. But I'm, speaking of Castlevania, I'm very much looking forward to the second season of that Castlevania anime coming out. That looks dope. You seen that Super Nerd? The trailer for Castlevania?
No, I haven't watched the first one.
What?
Yes, I know. Say what you want.
Dog!
Look at it.
You gonna be like, you watch that, you literally gonna be kicking yourself. Be like, dude, what the fuck was I waiting on? Like, it's so good. It is so good. Sabrina, you saw Castlevania, right? What'd you think of it?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, come on, y'all killing me. Y'all
Sorry.
killing me. Come on.
I knew you were gonna say it. You know, I was gonna be like, yeah, I have to say that.
Y'all killing me.
Sorry.
Come on now. That's terrible. That's so terrible. Oh, that's so terrible. Anyway, guys.
When anime is nowhere near as good as it used to be.
No, I know that, but still, when quality stuff comes on, you gotta watch it. You know what I'm saying?
To come out when quality is actually being made.
It's being made now. It's good.
It doesn't have the same feel though.
Whatever, man.
When quality anime was around, almost everything that came out was good. Few and far between, it means nothing to me. That means that you're like, oh, you're the one little good thing in the middle of a bunch of crap.
I think that's okay to be the one little
kind of
good
fair,
thing
but still, I still, when quality's out there, you kind of gotta watch. You gotta give it a chance. Anyway, guys, tune back in here next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central Time for the next episode of Culture Junkies Live. For LGZ, for Super Nerd Plus, for GQ, and for Sabrina, I'm Kishiro. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace.
Bye.